So from a young age, I've always been exposed to such amazing, learned people, and I've been privileged to that kind of exposure such early on in my childhood. I have changed over 20 schools in my childhood.
वाह!
I know I've never been in one place for a long time.
आपने आईआईटी दिल्ली 2 कारणों की वजह से चूज़ किया। एक, ऑब्वियसली आपको साउथ से बहुत दूर जाना था, तो ऑब्वियस चॉइस इज़ अपोज़िट व्हिच इज़ नॉर्थ, तो आपने दिल्ली चूज़ किया और उससे बड़ा रीज़न था आपकी लव लाइफ़ के लिए, आपको वो बहुत कन्वीनिएंट जगह पड़ती थी।
I was only focused on this my core problem. I was only reading about that. So only when I finished my PhD, I was like, oh my god, what have I missed? That kind of struck. I self-taught myself Solidity, and then I started attending hackathons, and that was a game changer for me. And I feel like the Web3 as a field only sees that they see what you've built. That is the Web3 proof of work. And this is where Octo fits in, right? It wants to make Web3 development as simple for a Web2 user, Web2 like building experience for the Web3.
यार ये बहुत ही मज़ेदार है, लाइक बिलीव मी, जो हमारा पॉडकास्ट रेगुलरली देखते हैं, दे विल हियर दिस सो मेनी टाइम्स। नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका डिजिटल दुनिया के एक और मजेदार पॉडकास्ट में। मैं आज बहुत ही एक्साइटेड हूँ क्योंकि हमारे साथ है ओविया शेषाद्री। ये सही मायनों में इंडिया में ओजी मानी जा सकती है ब्लॉकचेन की दुनिया में। ओविया हेड ऑफ डेवरेल है ऑक्टो में, और उन्होंने आईआईटी दिल्ली से कंप्यूटर साइंस में पीएचडी भी की है, स्पेशलाइजिंग इन ब्लॉकचेन। तो ये बातचीत बहुत ही मजेदार होने वाली है। ओविया की हिंदी थोड़ी कमजोर है, तो वो हमें अंग्रेजी में बात करेगी, मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि उसको पैराफ्रेज करके हिंदी में आपके लिए आसान भाषा में समझने के लिए ट्रांसलेट कर दूंगा। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का सफर। वेलकम टू द शो ओविया, हाउ आर यू टुडे?
Thank you so much, Apurva, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
यार ये डबल वेमी है, तो मैं भी बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ और आप भी बहुत एक्साइटेड। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। तो ओविया, आपका जन्म कहाँ हुआ और आपका अर्ली चाइल्डहुड कहाँ पर था?
Um, yeah, I absolutely love reminiscing about my childhood. I was born in a small village called Kallidai Kurchi in Tirunelveli district in Tamil Nadu. Most of my childhood was, my early childhood was there in my maternal grandparents' house. My grandfather was the village school headmaster. So, a fun fact about me, I come from a very big and loving family on my mother's side. I have about 9 aunts and 4 uncles and a lot of cousins. So, and we all get along so well together. I'm very proud of my family.
क्या बात है यार! आई थिंक दिस इज सच अ कॉमन थ्रेड, राइट? हिंदुस्तान में आप कहीं पर भी हो तो हमारा जो फैब्रिक है, सोशल फैब्रिक, फैमिली फैब्रिक
Hmm.
इज सो वाइटल in
Hmm.
every which way, right? And
Hmm.
we don't even realize sometimes that it plays such an amazing part in shaping us up the way we are.
Hmm. Of course, definitely. I have to agree with you. So my family is so close, and they've been a great support to me, both on my father's side and my mother's side. They've always encouraged me to do well, and they've given me every space and opportunity to widen my skills and grow as a person.
ओके, तो अविया, आपने अपने बचपन के बारे में बताया, अपने फैमिली के बारे में बताया। तो जहां तक मुझे पता है, आपने मुझे बताया था कि आप बहुत ही पढ़ाकू यानी पीएचडी वाली फैमिली में से आते हैं। तो वो बताइए। एंड ऑल्सो एजुकेशन, राइट? एजुकेशन इज अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ यू एंड योर फैमिली, तो काइंडली टेल अस लिटिल बिट अबाउट दैट।
Yeah, of course. Education has been like the number one priorities in my childhood and even now. So my family's put great emphasis on it. Um, Generally, I come from a Tambram family, and always usually in Tambram families, like education is always number one. You know, you like your education and your skills, how learned you are, that always plays an important role. As I said, my grandfather was a teacher, and even in his family, he put education as his number one priority. So my mother, actually, she also she's very inspirational. Like, she's one of my biggest role models. She did her PhD in mathematics, and my father also has his PhD in molecular biophysics. Both of them did their PhDs in IISc Bangalore. So from a young age, I was also instantly born during the end of their PhD. So from a young age, I have always been exposed to such amazing, learned people, and I've been privileged to that kind of exposure such early on in my childhood, and that is kind of that shaped me a lot in what I've wanted to do in my career as well.
यार बहुत मजेदार ये लाइक नगेट्स है आपकी जिंदगी से। आपके पेरेंट्स दोनों पीएचडी है, राइट? सो इट रन्स इन द ब्लेड। आई एम नॉट सरप्राइज यू डिड योर पीएचडी फ्रॉम आईआईटी दिल्ली। तो वेयर वाज योर स्कूलिंग? आपने कौन से जगह पर अपनी 12th तक स्कूलिंग कहाँ की?
I'm glad you asked this. This is another fun fact about me. I have changed over 20 schools in my childhood.
वाह।
I know I've never been in one place for a long time. And that's, I mean, it's also difficult for a young girl to be like that, because, you know, the minute you start making friends in in a new school, like, your parents are immediately shifting you to another school. So it's been, it's been very challenging for me. And so mainly because after my parents' PhD, they did several postdocs, and they were always traveling, and most of the time their postdocs would be in different cities. So I would spend some amount of time with my mom and some amount of time with my dad, and you know, I was always shuttling around between the two home establishments that I had. So that was one of the reasons that I had to change many schools. Most of my childhood was actually in the UK. I did my nursery in Scotland, and then a lot of my primary school in London and Leeds. So that has also shaped me a lot. I've been blessed to have the most amazing teachers. I still remember some of my teachers, one of whom is Leslie ma'am. So we call her Leslie. So she was such an inspiration role model. She actually got me into reading novels, and she was the one who introduced me to Harry Potter when I was in the fourth grade. So yeah, and Harry Potter has been with me for a long, like, till now. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge Potterhead. That's a very proud thing about myself. Not many people, like, many people will be say, "What, you still like Harry Potter after you've grown up?" But yeah, it's I think core to my personality in some way. Um, yeah, it's been quite a journey, but I don't regret it, because I have a unique story to tell because of all the different places I've been and all the different exposures that I've got.
तो ये बहुत मजेदार है, ओविया, लाइक योर चाइल्डहुड एक्सपीरियंस इन यूके एंड योर हैरी पॉटर स्टोरी। सो हाउ लॉन्ग वर यू इन यूके फॉर?
So I did my nursery in Scotland, and then we came back for a few years to India. I was studying in Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. Then we went back in the end of my third standard, and I was there till the beginning of my eighth standard. Then we came back. I was in the UK. We were in Leeds and London, like shifting between these two places, and. I came back for my eighth standard in Hyderabad. I was in Hyderabad for 2 years, then came to Bangalore. Then for Bangalore again in 2 years. Then I went, sorry, till 12th, I was in Bangalore, and then went to college in VIT Vellore, and then back to Bangalore, then Delhi. And now
यार
I'm in Chennai.
So this is like this is my blessing in a way, and I'm really grateful about it. When I talk to people like you, I get such a grand exposure through you guys, right? Especially someone like you who has got a such a rich childhood, right? मैं मानता हूँ कि uprooting it can be very hard for a young kid.
Yeah, yeah.
It brings its own challenges, but when
Hmm.
you look back from a vantage point of
Hmm.
today, right,
Hmm.
you realize that unknowingly or knowingly, actually, that could have played a significant role in your growth and development, right?
Of
So
course.
I'm going to, before we wrap up this session, I'm going to ask you a very simple thing. So UK, then pretty much your schooling and education was in south of India, right?
Yeah.
So what was two crucial things, if you can say, one about UK and one about South, Bangalore and Hyderabad,
Hmm.
uh, the key things that you picked up from there at that point in your life?
That's a difficult one. I feel like I got more comfortable with being alone and being just finding ways to entertain myself and to learn it was more a solo journey for me. As I said, it was very difficult to make friends because I kept moving. So in the UK, I I kind of started immersing myself in novels, and in many in. I also found great interest in going to museums and learning about history. So many weekends, my father would take me to the Natural History Museum in London, and we would just spend the whole weekend there looking at various exhibits. So it sounds very geeky, but that's what my childhood was, and I absolutely love going to museums even now. So it was more about, yeah, learning to be in my own company, and that I learned very early on. So which is a huge boon to me even now. Um, in Bangalore and Hyderabad, I think more than being in the UK, I started liking being in my own culture and in India more. So when we came back, I didn't realize that I would never want to go back to the UK. I want to stay in India. This is where my home is. This is where my people are. And yeah, I realized that after coming back.
Ovia, I can, like, as you were speaking, I can relate it so strongly, right? So obviously, even like, for kids, those who are moving around within India, uprooting is so hard, right? That it's very difficult to form an identity because our identity is inherently formed by our community, right? But when you're moving too much, it becomes very hard to find a community, which directly or indirectly affects our identity, right? And then, like, when you mentioned that, like, you moved back, and also that was your teenage years, right? uh, you kind of relate very strongly once you find a community. So I think, like, that could be a possibility why you connected so strongly, because you found your tribe. You found, जैसे हम Web3 में कहते हैं, right? Find your tribe, right? And when you find that community, it becomes very strong connection. So putting it in my own words, I think, like, you came in yourself. Probably it helped you boost your confidence and comfort level as well when you went to Hyderabad and Bangalore. Would that be fair?
Of course, yes. So I found Web3 much later on, but you got it spot on. Like one of the things that attracted me to Web3 was the sense of belonging and the community and the camaraderie that I felt with the people that I was interacting in that space with. So that was definitely one of the most attractive features of Web3 for me.
तो ओविया, Web3 में हम जाते
Hmm.
हैं. It is the reason why we are here, right?
Hmm.
But थोड़ा थोड़ा थम के, थोड़ा,
Hmm.
आपकी जर्नी इतनी कमाल रही है और धमाल रही है, राइट? तो Web3 पहुंचने के पहले भी इतना इंटरेस्टिंग है. So you did your education again from Tamil Nadu, your college, right?
Hmm.
और वहां से, like, This is so fascinating, like,
Mm.
especially for a girl who has
Mhm.
had so much of shifting and chopping and changing,
Mhm.
uh, to choose to go to IIT Delhi.
Mhm.
That, like, I'm very fascinated. What was the driving factor for you to choose Delhi?
Yeah, so I did my integrated masters from VIT Vellore. I was in computer science. I was I liked the subject a lot because maths was one of my favorite subjects because my mom was also from the maths background, so I found it quite easy. So computer science was a natural fit for me, and I think my college journey proved that I was fortunate enough to be a 9 pointer in college, and soon after college, I got one of the best placement offers, and I came to Bangalore. I started working in this company in the pharma line, where I was the data warehouse modeler. So it's like a architect for designing data warehouses. Um, I've always wanted to be a teacher from a young age. Like my grandfather was a teacher, my mom is also in the teaching line. So teaching has always been like a natural calling to me. And in college also, I had before every exams. I mean, we would only study like the day before exams, right? And I always used to have like a bunch of people coming to my hostel room, and like I would be teaching them the what like to study for the exam, right? And I've always been told that, okay, oh my God, I never understood this concept till you explained it to me. Or this, like, how can you, like, this is so easy when you say it, but then I mean, I didn't get it till now. So all of these kind of feedback reinforced the idea that, okay, I should be a teacher. So I tried out the industry for a couple of years, but then I said, I mean, even in the beginning, I wanted to enter academia, so I felt like I should still pursue a PhD. I applied to several places. Like I kept my options open, like any good student would do. Uh, but but one thing that was attracting me, like I wanted to go far away. Like I've experienced like living abroad. I've experienced living in south of India, like even in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and in Andhra Pradesh. So I wanted to right now Telangana, but so I wanted to. I've never been in North India. Like my whole life till well into my 20s, I've not been exposed to North India, and I wanted to try it out. And recently I'd started dating my husband, my current husband, and he got into ISB in Mohali. So I thought then, I mean, the closest way, the best way that I could be with him is to find a college nearby. And thankfully, when I got IIT Delhi, Delhi and Mohali are like 2 hours by train. So I thought, okay, let's try out IIT Delhi. So that's kind of one of the reasons I chose IIT Delhi. Apart from the fact that it has an amazing computer science department and fantastic professors, so that was one of the reasons I went to IIT Delhi. Um,
So, नाउ टू पैराफ्रेज इट, आपने आईआईटी दिल्ली दो कारणों की वजह से चूज किया। एक, ऑब्वियसली आपको साउथ से बहुत दूर जाना था, तो ऑब्वियस चॉइस इज अपोजिट विच इज नॉर्थ, तो आपने दिल्ली चूज किया। और उससे बड़ा रीजन था आपकी लव लाइफ के लिए, आपको वो बहुत कन्वीनियंट जगह पड़ती थी। तो अब पता चलता है कि आईआईटी दिल्ली आपको क्यों इतनी पसंद आई। तो लाइक आई थिंक आई डिड मेंशन टू यू, हम जब ऑफलाइन बात कर रहे थे, कि आईआईटी दिल्ली और वहां पर आपने कम पीएचडी करने में काफी टाइम लगा होगा आपको, राइट? तो ये बहुत ही फैसिनेटिंग है कि यू बीन इन दिल्ली फॉर गुड अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम, और आप हिंदी समझते हो लेकिन आप बोल नहीं सकते हो।
That's
तो
correct.
ये like this would have been a bone of contention, especially with young kids and uni going kids for sure. So I'm sure, actually you tell us, how was that experience?
No, yeah, so I mean, it's always a thing with South Indians that, they like, I don't know, they don't. pick up Hindi very easily. Uh, yeah, it was the same with me. My parents never spoke Hindi. My relatives never spoke Hindi. So I've never, till I went to Delhi, I didn't have that Hindi exposure. All my friends spoke in English. I didn't have many North Indian friends growing up. So even in Bangalore, all my North Indian friends also spoke in English. So it was like a very natural thing for me. When I went to Delhi, it was, I mean, people just assumed that everyone would know Hindi, right? They just come up to you and start talking, and I'm like, okay, please, take a step back. Um, so I mean, it's not like I didn't try. I've always loved Bollywood movies, so but I would read the subtitles. So that's how I got the. I used to enjoy Bollywood movies in Delhi. I understand when people speak in Hindi very fluently. Like, unless they use some very Shuddha Hindi words, I'm fairly comfortable with the conversation. But when I start replying, like, the bha sound, like when I say bhaiya or jadu or things like that, oh my god, my South Indian nature comes out, and most often, it leads to a lot of ridicule. So I'm kind of suppressing that side of me. Maybe I just need more practice and more being around more comfortable people to start conversing in Hindi. But I hope I reach there, because now my in-laws and my husband also, they speak very well Hindi. Like, it's like a natural tongue to them, but I still haven't been able to pick it up.
नहीं यार, and like I asked the question tongue in cheek, but to be honest, languages, no matter which language
Hmm.
you want to pick up, it's always a challenge, right? It's not easy.
Hmm.
तो ये खुद में ही बहुत बड़ी बात है कि यू कैन
Hmm.
अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, राइट? तो आप समझ सकते हो, राइट? इट डज नॉट
Hmm.
मैटर, आई कैन स्टिल कन्वर्स।
Hmm.
आप सुन सकते हो, समझ सकते हो, यू मे
Hmm.
रिप्लाई बैक इन डिफरेंट
Hmm.
लैंग्वेज, विच इज
Hmm.
फाइन है। इट्स
Hmm.
स्टिल बिग स्टेप फॉरवर्ड।
Hmm.
और हिंदुस्तान वैसे भी इतना बड़ा है, इतनी सारी
Hmm.
लैंग्वेजेस है, राइट? तो
Hmm.
ये बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है कि हर कोई लैंग्वेजेस सीख सके। तो कोशिश रहनी चाहिए, बट आई डोंट थिंक यू शुड फील बैड अबाउट इट। इट्स ओके।
Hmm.
तो अव्या, बिफोर वी रैप अप दिस सेगमेंट एंड हम वेब 3 की कहानी शुरू करें, which year did you finish your graduation in Bangalore?
My graduation was from VIT Vellore. I graduated in 2013.
And from 2013 you graduated, and when did you join IIT Delhi?
IIT Delhi was 2015. So 2 years I was working in Bangalore, and then I moved to Delhi.
So from 2015, how long were you in Delhi for?
Okay, so we moved out of Delhi in 2021. So almost 6 years I was in
Wow.
Delhi.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है. So yeah, and that's it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this segment, any particular thing that you picked up from Delhi or that you resonated very strongly in those
Mhm.
6 years? Because 6 साल काफी लंबा टाइम होता है.
Mhm. I think Delhi kind of, I got I became much braver in Delhi. I'm saying this because I was far away from home. I didn't know many people. I did have an aunt and uncle in Delhi who lived very close to IIT Delhi, so that was a comfort to me in many ways. But other than that, I didn't know many people, and like a lot of things I had to learn by myself, which was definitely challenging. I also I made some very good friends in IIT Delhi, and they showed me around, and they're still very close to me to this date. So good friends, and I became much braver. I became like I could go out. I mean, I actually traveled to many places overnight and all in this. I mean, I because that when I moved to Delhi, that's when the Nirbhaya case was popular, and it was very close to IIT Delhi. So like many people told me, like, no, be careful, don't go out in the night and all of that. But Delhi was Delhi was a really cherishable time of my life. And one more thing I noticed is people are very when maybe it's a Punjabi thing, but any conversation that I had, I felt like people were so open and they were talking like from their heart. They were wearing their feelings on their sleeves. Like first time when I heard this, I was taken aback because I wasn't used to people talking to me so frankly and directly. But I think that was a kind of thing that I started loving about North Indians in general.
And I can relate that, right? Mm, what like in my personal experience as well, what I've seen is people are loud, people are colorful, people are more wearing hard on their
Mm,
sleeves, as you
mm,
rightly said,
mm,
up north. तो ये अगर मैं पैराफ्रेज करूं, like Delhi gave you the belief and confidence in yourself to
mm,
be yourself, right? ये बहुत बड़ा एक बदलाव होता है, क्योंकि for anyone growing up, that gives you a lot of power to face the life and, like a career and people in general. Would
mm.
that be fair?
Of course, of course. I've also learned from looking at and speaking, interacting with more North Indian. I've also learned to be more expressive, and like I've learned to talk more about my feelings. So yeah, it's. I still I have many North Indian friends. I have a very close Punjabi friend, um, and I learn from them every day. So
बहुत बहुत
mm,
बढ़िया।
mm,
शुक्रिया ओविया। तो
mm,
ये हो गया। अ, यानी अगर हम दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड करें, पार्ट 1 एंड
mm.
पार्ट 2, तो हमारा पार्ट 1 आपकी कहानी हो गई। तो
Mm,
अब चलते हैं जो सिरा, जो पॉइंट हमें जोड़ता है, राइट, Web3। So when did you first hear about Web3? I'm pretty sure that most of the people started back then. जो
mm,
आपकी जर्नी जहां से शुरू हुई है, तब तो बिटकॉइन ही था। तो how
mm.
did you experience or hear first time about blockchain?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So as you said, not many people knew of blockchains. Bitcoin was little bit popular in like the in the dark web. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was popular in the West, and Ethereum was just gaining popularity. So in India, I didn't know many people working on blockchain. So when I went to IIT Delhi, I came from a data warehouse, data mining background. So I wanted to continue my PhD in that because that was the machine learning was also getting popular. So data mining, machine learning was like the it thing, and I also wanted to get on that wave. I match fixed with a professor already to work under him when I went to IIT Delhi. But as soon as I joined, that prof told me that he's moving to the US. So I was left. I didn't know what to do again in a new place, and one certain thing that I had was also gone. Um, but that so my second option was network security and cryptography. It was one of my favorite subjects in college as well. So I reached out to the network security professor, and he told me that he's venturing into this new topic called blockchain. This was in 2015. So he told me that, okay, like I want to get into this area. Do you I mean, we can work together on this. um, do you want to look it up and let me know what you think? So I did that. I went to I started researching what Bitcoin and blockchain is. um, the first thing that caught me was the high trading price. Like Bitcoin was $500 per Bitcoin. I know, right? And that time I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive. It's going to become huge because it's $500. I mean, in 2015, I thought, okay, let's just stick to the technical side because $500 is something that I can't afford. So, one of my biggest regrets till date. Um, but other than the economy, the trading price side, I really love the tech behind it. Like I was reading the next big thing after the internet, and the term Web3 was also like just coming up then. So it was. it was exciting, right? It was my chance. I was in a unique position to be part of a technology that was just coming up, it not in something that had already matured. So I felt like I could make a lasting impact in this field if I did get up. And also the idea of having a decentralized future, having more control and transparency over any kind of governance, that kind idea, like it resonated with me on some level. I'm not able to explain it, but I was fascinated by it. I was intrigued, and I definitely wanted to see a future like that. So I went back to my prof and said, okay, let's do it. And he was very helpful. Like, he guided me, he brought me up to speed on what is happening. And one of the biggest problems back then was scalability. I mean, it still is, but yeah, so that's where we started formulating our problem.
यार बहुत बढ़िया है क्योंकि मैंने लाइक मेरी जुगाड़ू रिसर्च थी। तो यू आर अ प्रॉपर रिसर्चर, यू डिड अ पीएचडी, सो कुडोस टू यू। मेरी जो जर्नी है वो जुगाड़ू इसलिए है क्योंकि मैंने पिछले 7 साल में जितना मटेरियल मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ, जितना मैं प्रोसेस कर सकता हूँ, तो बार बार फ्रॉम डिफरेंट ऑथर, फ्रॉम डिफरेंट राइटर, फ्रॉम डिफरेंट बुक। तो आई कीप ऑन, आई मीन इट्स अ रैबिट होल, राइट? सो आई कांट हेल्प माई सेल्फ, आई जस्ट कीप ऑन गोइंग देयर। तो हालांकि 2015 आई वाज नोवेयर क्लोज टू बिटकॉइन और वेब 3 और blockchain. I only understood that because of my brother's point of view, because he was working for a trading platform and he would trade, and I'm like, can't be bothered. As a skeptic, right? Come from a finance background, so I was very big skeptic back then. So also that time, Ovia was, as you rightly said, beginning of Ethereum, right? क्योंकि 2014 में उसका ICO हुआ था, and Ethereum went live in 2015 July. So it kind of feels like, you were in such an amazing spot doing such an amazing thing, and you would get updates and exposure very quickly because you were doing research, I like to believe.
Actually, no. I mean, in hindsight, I can understand why you're saying this, but it was a very narrow and like confined journey. So when we started our research, there was nobody else working on this area in the academic side in India. I mean, I
Hmm.
reached out to all the other IITs and NITs and IISc, and I couldn't. There was no other prof at that time, our students at that time. So when I started, I was pretty much by myself. And in PhD is a kind of thing where you take one narrow topic and then you go as deep as you can in that, and then you're like you have that cover over your eyes. You're not looking at anything else and you're just focusing on one thing. So I wasn't exposed to the magnitude of the evolving landscape of Web3. It like all the flourishes and fancies of it. I didn't know about it. I was only focused on this my core problem. I was only reading about that. So only when I finished my PhD, I was like, oh my god, what have I missed? That kind of struck. Um, but yes, I don't. It was. I think both sides are important. Learning the breadth of a field and learning the depth of it. And I was fortunate to get that experience to learn, like, even I know Bitcoin at a protocol level, like all the decisions that were made. And if I was if I was seduced by the magnitude of Web3 back then, maybe I wouldn't have learned Bitcoin in such detail. So yeah.
Yeah, I am. Have you heard a book called Tracers in Dark?
No, sorry, what is that?
So it is one of my most favorite books,
Hmm.
and it was written by Andy Greenberg, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I was blown, right? So, my aptitude helped me a lot of learning
Hmm.
because of that book, right?
Hmm.
तो उन्होंने कहानी like you know he was one of the pioneers in investigative
Hmm.
journalism
Hmm.
कि वो ब्लॉकचेन की स्टडी और उसको ट्रैक करना
Hmm.
शुरू किया था उन्होंने.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it also, like, you know, the way your journey in 2015 connects with Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then
Hmm.
Web3,
Hmm.
his investigation mindset
Hmm.
led him to Bitcoin because of the Silk Route,
Hmm.
what had happened, Darknet, कहाँ से कैसे transfer होता है, one
Yeah.
thing, and he kept on going and
Hmm.
talking to different people and researcher. And it is a fascinating book. I highly recommend for anyone who is interested in Web3,
Hmm.
understanding of the early phase जो 2012, 13, 14, 15 का टाइम है, उसको समझने के लिए बहुत ही मजेदार किताब है. तो अगेन आई एम डाइग्रेसिंग, चलो वापस आ जाते. तो you did your you started off your PhD, and
Hmm.
that's how you got your first experience or understanding of blockchain, more precisely Bitcoin network, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
how did you actually then evolve your journey from there?
Yeah, so in my PhD, so my problem was around scaling proof of work chains. Ethereum was also proof of work back then. So my professor and I, we formulated two problems. We also had two MTech students working with us. Um, so it was pretty much the four of us that were working on this topic. Um, we had two solutions to improve scalability, both of which we patented, and also we published papers on them. So after my PhD was over, I mean, as after I had written my thesis, I kind of like removed all my. I looked I looked at the broader world and I thought, oh my god, there's so much has happened in this space, and I also found out that people are moving away from proof of work. There are still some projects working on proof of work right now, but it was proof of stake and proof of X mechanisms, right? Um, so I had to reinvent myself again, uh,
Oh,
because I mean, you don't even though I have some work done in a technology that has already become obsolete. I mean, it will not help me like develop my career. So that's when I started learning building smart contracts. I self taught myself Solidity to
I'm
come.
going to interject. Sorry, Ovia. Which year did you self-taught Solidity?
It was a 2021.
Okay.
Huh. So that's when I knew, I mean, not knew, I've known about it, but I felt like it was important to my career now that I become an expert in these things. So I self-taught myself Solidity. And then I started attending hackathons. And that was a game changer for me. I was not much of a hackathon attender like in back in my college, but in Web3 space, hackathons can really change. Like it can upskill you much faster than any normal method would. So I also met one of my good friends, Gyan, at that time, and so she told me about the community that she was building called the Phoenix Guild, and I attended one of their events. And from there, a lot of other we had together in a couple of hackathons, and that was a game changer for me. I also got into my current job at CoinDCX via hackathon. So I would recommend hackathons to any person wanting to enter this field.
यार ये बहुत ही मजेदार है. लाइक यू नो,
Hmm.
बिलीव मी, जो हमारा पॉडकास्ट
Hmm.
रेगुलरली देखते हैं,
Hmm.
they will hear this so many times. So many founders, so many key leaders have
Hmm.
said the same thing: participate in hackathon, right? Hackathon have got power to change your life.
True.
Career तो छोटी चीज है, but like you know,
Hmm.
the kind of connections you make, we've recorded with Gyan, and like you
Hmm.
know, another amazing thing is your stories are very different in many individual way, but your, if you look at, like you know, overview from top, it looks very similar journey.
Yeah.
So I think, like, it's so fascinating, and kudos to you both in a way, because you are, uh, in my view, in my eyes, like, India, the community, the people are going to remember you in 5 to 10 years as the OG of blockchain, right? OGs of, because when you guys were doing what you have been doing, right? Most people would not even know what Web3 or what blockchain was, right? So again, like, I applaud all the effort and hard work you both have put in, and kudos to you to sticking on and participating in this amazing world. मुझे क्योंकि मुझे खुद को पता है कि how energetic and how powerful these communities are, right? I wish I was as closely part of it as you guys have been, but I'm still happy that I'm contributing in my own way.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. I absolutely love what you've done with this podcast, Purva. I
Thank
actually
you.
want I want to add another point about hackathons. So I feel like it's a leveler in this Web3 space, because it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, what degrees you have, or what kind of job experience you have. You come to this place, you're building something new, and you in hackathons you'll find any kind of people from like college first years to like seasoned professionals. It's such a wide range of people, and they're all like they have the single focus to learn, to build something, and to be in this Web3 space. So and I feel like the Web3 as a field only sees that. They see what you've built. That is the Web3 proof of work, where you have to have a portfolio. You need to show your passion in building to be in this space. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what degrees you have. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past.
I can't agree more. It's such a neutral place, right? It's
Yes.
gender neutral, it's country neutral, it's
Mhm.
politically neutral.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, it also connects to me on a greater level, right? So,
Mhm.
it does not matter where you come from, what background you come from, what knowledge set you have, right? As
Mhm.
long as you can contribute, you want to participate and you can create value or generate value, you will find your ways, right? So itni
Mhm.
sari kahaniyan hai, right? And that's what inspired me, to be honest, Ovia, to give up everything and focus on this podcast, is purely the power to the community and all the things that I have learned about the community. So I know we are getting towards the last segment of our journey. So what I want to ask you now is, obviously you mentioned about Phoenix Gale, you mentioned about CoinDCX, and you mentioned about Octo, right? So if you can start with what you are currently doing with all three of them.
Sure. So one of the reasons I joined CoinDCX was because it was it it was a company that was born in India. Again, I already spoke about how much I like being in India, and I felt like India was in a unique space in terms of Web3 to become a global leader. In the Web2 setting, like it's already matured. It's even though a lot of Indians are the ones who are flag bearers of Web2, but they've all moved to the West. And I feel like something native homegrown can is possible in Web3 from India. And CoinDCX is precisely doing that, right? They were first a centralized exchange, and now with this product Octo, they're also moving to the decentralized space. So Octo is playing to the chain abstraction narrative. Basically, what it means is when you're using application, right, a Web2 application, user Uber or Amazon, you don't really know what stack it is built on. You don't know what technologies it's using in the back end, or what you don't know what it's built on, right? And that's what we want to achieve in Web3. Users, if we need to bring more utility to users in Web3, we've built enough infrastructure and tools, but we don't have enough user facing applications. And that's primarily because Web3 is ever evolving. We've already spoken about this. There are so many new protocols being built every day, a new chain. like layer ones, layer twos, now even layer threes. So this landscape is going to keep evolving till and it's not going to stabilize in the near future, and that should not stop us from building user facing applications. And number of Web3 developers in this world is much lesser than the number of Web2 developers in the world. And Web2 developers are not able to build for Web3 because this learning curve is so steep. Let's not wait. Let's not give them this problem of learning Web3 before starting to build it. Let's abstract out the process of building for Web3 and the ever evolving landscape of Web3. And this is where Octo fits in, right? It wants to make Web3 development as simple for a Web2 user, Web2 like building experience for the Web3. So you're abstracting out all complexities of Web3.
So, Ovia, just to process and understand, and most likely the viewers will also help. It will help you viewers to understand as well.
Hmm.
तो आप ये कह रहे हो कि what Octo is trying to build is kind of build a bridge where Web 2 developers with
Hmm.
their current skill can try and play around and build user facing or user centric applications,
Hmm.
which then can be migrated to Web3. Have I got it right?
No, they would be building on Web3 from the start. So let's say interacting with a smart contract becomes an API call for Web2 developers. So they're building on Web3 without learning, without having
Oh,
to
okay.
learn the complexities of Web3. You don't need to know how to, let's say, construct a transaction object for the various ecosystems that we have, right? EVM, Solana, Aptos, Cosmos. You don't have to know these specific individual ecosystems. You don't have to know how to, let's say, estimate gas or manage an account, or add nonce values, or even like just entire transaction life cycle, submitting a transaction, waiting for confirmation. You don't need to know all of that. You leave the Web3 part to Octo and just focus on your business logic and user experience.
तो यार ये बहुत ही fascinating है and I want to dig in deeper on this point, right?
Mhm.
So background में Octo is an infra project, so it provides you with a toolkit, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
for a developer to
Mhm.
build any user application.
That's
And
right.
then by using that toolkit, they are actually able to migrate that to whichever EVM, SVM, or whatever chain they want to build that application for. Is that right? In a layman's
Yes.
term?
Yes, of course. So the network that they're using, Ethereum or Solana or Aptos, it just becomes a parameter in the API call. So they can, in fact, instantly, if they we're building this out, but in the near future, like the same applications migrating from one ecosystem to another ecosystem is going to be so it's just going to be your app will already exist in multiple ecosystems. It's a simple config file change.
तो मैं ये help me understand and also pardon my ignorance because I'm
Hmm.
going to ask you as a user because I'm
Hmm.
first and foremost a user, right?
Hmm.
So there a possibility of a common scenario, say for example Aave, right?
Hmm.
It's on all the EVM chains, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But using something like Octo infrastructure,
Hmm.
uh, a developer or Aave code can be made available on Solana or Aptos. So they don't have to create a new clone of Aave for that particular chain. Is that right?
Um, if you're building out a lending borrowing protocol yourself, then yes, you will have to deploy in all of these chains. But yes, you can just you can replicate the same functionality. But what I was talking about is, let's say that as a user, you have assets, you have funds in, let's say, Solana, right? And Aave is on EVM chains. So how would you use an Aave opportunity when you don't have assets on EVM? I'm saying as a user, you don't need to care about that. You're saying that I need to use this opportunity on Aave, make sure it happens for me. And Octo can bring whatever assets needed from various other portfolios that you have on other ecosystems, to make sure that you avail this opportunity on Aave.
Okay, so I'm confusing myself, and that's why I'm probably confusing you as well, because
Hmm.
I'm constantly jumping between user and developer, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
from I'm just going to take I'll make it easy. So first scenario, I'll talk about user, right?
Hmm.
So I've got my funds on EVM,
Hmm.
and like I've landed on Aave. Now,
Hmm.
if I want to use that fund as a
Hmm.
collateral, and I want to make a transaction or make an opportunity, there is an opportunity on Solana.
Hmm.
So I can use that using Octo, as
Yes.
long as the developer has created an API for those applications.
Yes, the developer can. So it's a single portfolio asset. The developer just has to say that this invoke this transaction, that is, get this opportunity for this user on this chain, and Octo will make sure that it'll take funds from other places and make sure you get that opportunity.
यार ये तो I like I actually learned so much because I didn't know about what you guys are doing at Octo. So
Mhm.
uh, I'm going to rein in with a very heavy heart because I know that I can go on for another half an hour just talking about
No,
Octo.
no, same here. I feel like Octo is a game changer in many ways, and I think we should have another session just to talk about all the things that Octo can provide.
Okay, so let's park it for now. बहुत मजेदार रहा ये. And if you want to throw light on Phoenix Gill before we wrap up.
Yes. So I'm also into the community. So I've been a contributor in the Phoenix Guild for some time now. I also run my a regional chapter of the Phoenix Guild in Chennai, called the Phoenix Guild Chennai chapter. So along with my sister. So my sister is also in Web3.
Wow.
So so it's become it's really nice. So and Phoenix Guild is like a second family to me. It's that kind of sisterhood that we have there is I don't think you can get find it in many places. That makes it much more pleasurable to contribute to an organization like the Phoenix Guild. Phoenix Gill is doing such great work with. So our mission is to empower more people into Web3, into like CXO positions, and kind of we're a builder community, Web3 builder community. We run several workshops, hacker houses, and with various protocols to give this opportunity to the underrepresented.
Yeah, I am so proud of you, Ovia. I don't think like मुझे पता ही नहीं चला कितना जल्दी टाइम जा रहा है हम बात कर रहे हैं and we are almost close to an end and I just feel that I've not even scratched the surface. So as we say in Web3, 6 months is like 5 year in normal world. So we have to catch up very soon.
Yes.
Uh, and I like I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader for what you're doing with Octo, for what you're doing with Phoenix Gill. Gyan also mentioned about Phoenix Gill and the opportunity you're creating for uh, people in Africa, South America, India, anywhere, everywhere. So big kudos to that. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Anything, any final comment before we wrap this up?
It's been great. So I particularly it's been a long time since I actually spoke about or thought about my journey till this point, and I feel like talking to you has made me remember so much about myself, and I'm feeling so grateful for the journey that I've had. Thank you for giving me this feeling.
माय प्लेजर. मुझे उम्मीद है कि मुझे जितनी मजा आई है हमारे सुनने वालों को भी उतनी मजा आएगी. मोर देन दैट, like अगर आई एम वेरी श्योर योर जर्नी इज गोइंग टू बी इंस्पिरेशनल, राइट? तो बहुत सारी यंग फीमेल्स हो सकती है इंडिया में, दुनिया भर में, कहीं पर भी. एंड व्हाट यू गाइस हैव डन एंड व्हाट यू हैव अचीव्ड इज गोइंग टू बी अ बेंचमार्क फॉर दिस जनरेशन एंड द कमिंग जनरेशन. तो तहे दिल से अगेन शुक्रिया आपका. आपने इतने दिल से हमें आपके बारे में बताया. दोस्तों, उम्मीद है आपको भी ये एपिसोड इतना ही पसंद आएगा जितना मुझे रिकॉर्ड करने में मजा आई है ओविया के साथ. हमें यूं ही फॉलो करते रहिए और मजीद डिजिटल खजानों की खोज में. अगली बार तक सवाल करते रहो, एक्सप्लोर करते रहो. द डिजिटल दुनिया।